Welcome to Stand Out from the Crowd, the podcast dedicated to helping professionals and leaders amplify their voice, impact, and influence. Are you ready? Let's go.
Hello, beautiful people. How are you doing today? So, just to give you a little heads up, okay? I'm hosting this live conversation in a context that is quite particular because there was a fire in my building. Everyone is safe. We all good. The firefighters did an amazing job. But we never know if the fire alarm may sound again. I will put myself on mute, but it won't stop us. It won't stop me, and it won't stop us from having a conversation about how to build your leadership brand. And today, our standout guest is just amazing. She's brilliant. She's beautiful inside and outside. And her story, her accomplishments are simply amazing. So please help me welcome Paniz. And just before I bring her on board, as usual, use the comment section, introduce yourself, ask your questions, leave your comments, share your thoughts. We are here, a beautiful international community. Your next opportunity, your next collaborators, partners can be in the comment, okay? So fire up the comment section and let's get started. Hello, Panis. How are you doing?
Hi, Doreen. I'm doing excellent. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. So as you know, the context today is a little bit special, but we're here. We're still making it happen. So thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us on the LinkedIn live podcast Stand Out from the Crowd, the podcast that is dedicated to helping leaders amplify their voice and impact, right? And I know that's something that is close to your heart, using your voice to make an impact. So, Panis, let's get started. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Who is Panis?
Sure. Before I get started with that, I wanted to thank you for giving me the opportunity to join your audience and join your session here on the Stand Out from the Crowd. So thank you for that, Doreen. It's a wonderful pleasure to be here with you and everybody else. So my name is Paniz Gorji. I am a client executive at Microsoft. And I also help people and leaders bridge the gender gap in STEM. And thanks again for having me.
Okay, so let's dive a little bit into your way to leadership. And we're gonna talk about it more in depth later. We're gonna talk about your story because your story is truly amazing and inspiring. But let's talk a little bit of your journey through. How did you navigate your way into the role that you have today?
Sure, I'd love to share that with you and folks. My path, obviously, out of school, I had an opportunity to be recruited right at the last year of my university through a session that I attended, and I met one of the VPs of sales at Xerox. I never knew that I like sales. I did a combination of engineering and e-commerce when I was in school, and I actually didn't like sales. The concept of sales was not something that I was interested in. And I got recruited by Xerox, and obviously I went through the training, which was fabulous. And the first year was a little bit difficult because I kept I was supporting universities in the US, and I kept getting hung up on because it was supporting them virtually. And it truly hurt me every time I got hung up on. And one of the things that my manager, which was a great individual who took me under his wings, he said, Paniz, don't take things personally, right? Mm-hmm. And it was a really great lesson that he taught me. And it really helped thicken my skin. Every call that I got hung up on, it just increased my the layers on top of my skin a little bit. And then from there, I moved to a different role. And if I look at my career, and I know a lot of people, there's a lot of ups and downs, in your career.
Yeah.
But I was fortunate, and I like to acknowledge that I consider myself a very privileged person, where I also believe in, if you put it out in the world, it comes back to you, right? And I've been fortunate enough to find my path, and obviously all the other opportunities that open up. And funny story that I like to share with everybody, at the time with my previous company, I really was looking for another opportunity, and I applied to I applied to Microsoft about a year before I actually got hired at Microsoft. And it was a time in my career where I really wanted something different, and I wanted to grow. And I applied to many different organizations, and I didn't get into Microsoft at that point in time. And about a year later, on International Women's Day, I got invited to this event, which is really interesting, because it was like a fork in a road, right? Where I had to choose whether I go to this event, which was for, women, for International Women's Day, or I go to this event for Microsoft. And I decided that that is where I want to be, because it's an organization that I really wanted to be part of. And this was maybe my only opportunity. It was a very difficult choice to make at a time, but I'm so happy that I did, because I ended up meeting my hiring manager there. And about a month later, I ended up at Microsoft. So that is just a little bit of a journey. Obviously, it's hard to share everything in just a few minutes, but I thought it was a great reminder that if you're really interested to do something and be there, you can attract that. And I'm fortunate to say that it happened, right? So that's just a little bit about my story. And then I think that it's also, and I think your fire alarm is going again. So I'm just going to continue a little bit to just talk a little bit about how I ended up, what have I done differently, and a little share with the audience how I met you, because I think that's extremely important. Yes, I'll tell about the car I bought. Sure, let's get into that story. So back in 2014, I was at ADP, and at that point in time, I was making $37,000, and I saw this car I wanted to change my car, and I saw this car that was about $70,000. So a lot out of my comfort zone and out of my budget. And everybody who was who knew me at a time was saying that, hey, this is a crazy decision that you're making. It doesn't make any financial sense. Like, why are you even doing this? And when I was at the dealership, I was negotiating with this guy, saying that, hey, this is my budget, and this is the numbers I can play with. If I had to stretch it over how many months, I'm willing to do it, because I really wanted it. And it was interesting, because our office was on the main floor, and I used to park my car right in front of my window, because my seat was a window-facing seat. And I saw my car every day that I went to the office. And it became a source of motivation for me, where not only I hit President's Club that year, I earned a lot of awards for being the top sales. I got promoted twice. So it really became a source of motivation for me. And I travel with that car from Nova Scotia to Ontario because they asked me to join the account partnership program to lead that program here in Ontario. So it's been with me since, and it's near and dear to my heart because it's beyond being just a thing and a car. It just is, it's a great reminder for me is, you know, I stayed true to myself. I could have easily let other people influence my opinion, my thought and opinion at the moment when I was making that decision, but I didn't. And it truly, you know, I don't want the concept of the car being the thing, but it's more whatever becomes a motivation. It could be family, it could be you know, growth, it could be anything that it's a source of motivation for you can get you out of your comfort zone.
That's very true. And so thank you for taking over while the alarm was on. But actually, why I asked you to share the story from the car, because I think it's a story that is very empowering and inspiring. It's about, you know, the law of attraction. When you project yourself, you know, doing something, achieving something, there is a strong chance that you will take the action to make it happen. And so you were talking about the ups and downs, or, you know, navigating your way into corporate, which like each one of us can relate actually, right? When we graduate from either college or university, on paper everything looks straight. It's the highway to success. And then we get started and real life hits, and you know, we realize that there is a lot of ups and downs and a lot of downs. And then, you know, it's really a matter to keep believing in yourself, but also to keep attracting what you want to achieve in life. And so this story of you, and I know you shared it on LinkedIn with your community, where you bought this car because you wanted to remind yourself what you were capable of, and actually that encouraged you, motivated you to take actions on a daily basis to prove yourself right. For me, it's really powerful. And those are the traits of leadership, right? You go beyond what you think it's possible. You take action. You make decisions that might not be popular, but still, because you believe in it, you go for it. So the topic of today is really building your leadership brand. So it was important for our respective audiences to understand what was your way to where you are at right now. So as many people working in corporate, but not only business leaders, corporate leaders, you know, we know now more than ever that you need to increase your online presence. If you don't have an online presence, basically you don't exist. All right. And that's one. Secondly, you want to also be able to leverage social media, to, for example, LinkedIn, to amplify your voice so you can inspire and impact as many people as you can, right? Why would you limit yourself to your team only when you have so much to share with the world? And so, when was the aha moment? I know I have this conversation with a lot of people where they're like, yes, I know, but this and that. People find so many excuses. But I want to know, what was your aha moment when you knew it was about time to do something about your online visibility, about leveraging your story and everything that you have accomplished so far, so you could amplify your voice and your impact?
Sure. So there were two times in my life where I felt lost. One was when I was right out of school and I got my first job, obviously. It was a moment in life where I wasn't sure, why did I get a degree? Why am I in corporate? What's the meaning of life? And you know, it took a lot of soul searching and great people around me that helped me out of that and helped me understand what my purpose was. And it happened again this year. And I think with the pandemic, you know, our norms changed. And it was that sudden change that really shocked everybody, right? Like I'm a believer that change is required because change is an engine behind innovation and great things happen in our lives and in the world. And if you're always constant, it's like a water that it's not moving, right? It rots and it smells and you don't want that. So change is important, right? And then this year, it was actually in August when I felt that I had everything I've ever dreamed of, right? I have a job that I absolutely love. I have a partner that I absolutely love. And I have a family who's wonderful and supportive. And I have a dog that I also love. But I didn't feel fulfilled. And I felt that I have everything that I ever imagined, but something was missing. And it was one of the sessions that you had on LinkedIn that I attended. And a lot of the things that you said about, if hard work is not the answer, and I've always been a hard worker in my entire life from the day that I moved miles away from home when I was 19, and I left that wonderful life with my parents and moved to Canada to start a life of my own, which took a lot of courage and bravery to do because I was alone. I went through all of those different parts of my life, and I hit this moment where I'm thinking, what is really the meaning of life? And hard work is not the answer. It is a way, like you certainly need to put the hard work in, but so that message that you had that day truly resonated with me. So I reached out to you, and you kindly took me under your wings, which I'm super grateful for. And for any of you that are tuning in, listening, my advice, if there's one thing you need to get out of this today, is that get a coach, get a career coach, because they truly, and what Doreen did for me is she gave me that clarity I was looking for in August, right? I love, like I said, I love what I do. And I hit a point in my life that I was like, why am I doing all this? Even though my job is extremely impactful, I still felt that I need a little bit more. And when I started, obviously, when we started the sessions, I really was confused, right? I was going from this idea to this idea to this idea. And you really helped me funnel it down and focus on what truly was important to me by asking all of the questions that I never knew to ask myself. And most importantly, you were there to support me, right? It's important to have that support system around you by people who understand it. Another message that you gave me was that not every conversation need to happen with everybody, right? So you have some conversation with some people and other conversations with other. So it's important the reason why I say it's important to have a career coach is because you ask me all the right questions. And I remember when my aha moment was when you asked me what I want to do, and I started like blabbering about all of the things that I wanted to do. And it really didn't hit me until when I wrote it down and I said, this is what I want to do. I want to make an impact. And going back to, this is my long way of answering your question, but just to go back to when I realized that online presence was important is because, I posted something on LinkedIn last week, and it truly took off. It touched 30,000 people. In my wildest dreams, I would have never thought a story that I took so close to my heart for so many years can take off like that. And so many people were messaging me or commenting on the post saying that it resonated with them, right? So I had to find my why as why I wanted to share on social media. And I've been a very private person my entire life, and I even remember I told you that I'm not super comfortable with doing this. And the moment that I became comfortable with it was when I realized, why am I doing this? My why is I want to make an impact for other people. And even if one single person can benefit from what I post or what the videos that I share, I believe that I made an impact, right? Because we all need to help. We so are focused on self-improvement that we don't realize why we're doing this for, right? If you are so great but all the people around you are not, you will not have an impact, right? It's your And I guess my purpose is to make other people finding their whys and finding and reaching that potential that it's all within us, but we just haven't found it yet. So that's when I realized that it's important to share my story with other people, because we all have something wonderful to contribute to this world and to others. And this is my way of giving back.
Wow, that's beautiful. And so, thank you for sharing your journey and our journey together. So, to give you a little bit of context for those of you who are watching, is true. And Paniz, like many of you, like she knew she had a gift, and she wanted to use this gift to impact others, but she didn't know really how to articulate it, and she had a lot of beautiful ideas in mind. So through the work that we did, she gained clarity, focus on how she can best use her voice to serve her purpose. So that's one. But then I remember you had a specific concern that many of you in the audience have, which is also privacy. And when I remember when I told you, Paniz, okay, what's the story? Let's look at your story. Let's look at the chapters of your life that contributed to make the woman that you are today, that contributed to teach you some of the greatest lessons in your life. You told me, listen, Doreen, I'm a very private person. I don't feel comfortable. I don't want any information about myself out there. This is not me. And this reaction was normal, because 99% of people I work with have the same reaction, which is basically there is a difference between your private life and your story, right? And so since it's been a couple of weeks now, if not months, Paniz has been doing videos 3 times a week. She went from zero or like almost zero to posting videos. She had never posted videos before, never recorded videos before, 3 times per week, where she shows up and she shares a little bit of her story. And if you don't follow Paniz, please follow her. Look at the videos, because she's doing an amazing job. So now that brings me to my next question, Paniz, which is storytelling and the power of storytelling as a leader. In today's age, it was true for like forever, I want to say, but since now, we have less opportunities to interact in person. Like the online world is really the space that we need to occupy, right? And we need to do it in a way that is smart, that is genuine, and that is impactful. How do you connect with people? How do you share these vibes? How do you create that emotional connection when you don't see people in person, when you are behind your screen? And the best way to do it is through sharing your story. And I hear so many of you like, oh, but my story is just like my story. But actually, you would be surprised how many people can relate to your story. And I remember, Paniz, the first post that you did, when it went like he performed very well, and you told me, Doreen, you wouldn't believe it. And I said, yes, I do believe it, because I know the power of it. So now tell us a little bit more of your story, and how do you use it to create that connection with your community?
Sure. And yes, you're absolutely right. I was a little reluctant at first to do that. And I'm so grateful you pushed me and pushed me out of my comfort zone to do it. And it's the way I look at it is and one individual once asked me, what are you getting out of this? Right? Why are you spending time and sharing these videos with people? And I said, it all goes back to my why, right?
Yeah.
I want to make sure that, there are people out there that are going through difficult time as we speak right now. And if one of the videos or one of the posts that I have can help get them out of that, state of mind that they're
Mhm.
in, and help them get out of that situation by just a quick reminder, that I've been successful, right? So for me, storytelling, and like I said, like that post that went uh, somewhat viral, I would say, was something that I had it so close to my heart for so long, thinking it's not going to make an impact. Who cares if I arrived in Canada after 48 hours of traveling and the box that my clothes was in broke on the conveyor belt and I had to collect it, and I was embarrassed, and I felt stupid at the time that this is the situation. And now looking back, I think that story validated a lot of moments for other people who has gone through it. And I think it's important to share our stories, because not only it helps us kind of make peace with them, but
Mhm.
it also helps other people and gives other people encouragement to share their stories, because like I said, everybody can learn from others. I'm grateful, and I, as part of the work that I do at Microsoft also, I think that we all need to come together as a community, and we all learn from each other. So I work with municipalities, police services, and government agencies. And I believe that we're all stronger together, right? There are parts of life where we are experiencing at different times, but at the end of the day, it is kind of the same process for everybody. It's a little different from, the ups and downs, and the challenges are different, but everybody faces challenges. Everybody goes through transformation. And it's important to share those and to come together as a community to learn from other people's mistakes, make mistakes ourselves and learn from it, and then share that with the broader audience so that they, either they don't make those mistakes, or they start ahead of the other crowd, right? So
Yeah.
again, it's important to share our stories, and that's important to me, and that's why I contribute via videos and other avenues.
That's wonderful. And again, you're doing an amazing job, Paniz. And something also, and I know you experience it yourself, and like many other people, most of the time people believe that they need to build self-confidence first before they start to show up, right? When actually it's by showing up, and when you see how people connect, relate to your content, that it boosts actually your self-confidence. So don't wait to have figure it all, because this is not happening. And the longest you wait, the longest you keep postponing, showing up online as the leader you already are. You already are a leader. Like, it's not a job title that defines someone as a leader. That's very important for me to share that with everyone watching us, because so many of you limit yourself to your job title when you are much more than your job title. And you can have an impact with who you are, because you are enough. Okay, so building your leadership brand, building your leadership status, it's of course about positioning yourself as a trusted voice in your industry. Don't get me wrong here. Of course, it has to be strategic. But beyond that, the kind of leaders and the leadership that we need today is people who are able to communicate and to connect with others on an emotional level. Since the beginning of the pandemic, we have been hearing and we have been talking about the current leadership crisis, right? Where there was a disconnection so big, a gap so big between the leaders at the top and the employees, when actually by building your leadership brand, by showing up online, by communicating about your story and being present for your audience, you are just like building the bridge between you and others. And to me, and especially at the like when you look at the time we are going through, this is what we need. And there is a lot of articles, a lot of studies that are talking about it right now. This is a reality. This is not something that we are talking in vain. This is a reality. This is happening right now. So let me look at the comment. We have a few comments from the audience. We have someone who says, and I cannot see your name, interesting subject tonight. So I guess it's somewhere on the other side of the world. We have Lygia, great to see you. Greetings from Costa Rica. Hola, Lygia, welcome. We have also our friend here. So Carl, actually, this topic, like we are talking about vulnerability. Carl, like helps leader to have a greater impact through vulnerability and through your story, as you said, through sharing the struggles and the challenges that you went through, you are vulnerable. And this is how you started to create the connection with people, because people don't look for perfect leaders out there. They don't look for the perfect image. They look for people who are humans. Okay, so our friend Carl here says, truly enjoying this awesome conversation. Thank you, Doreen and Paniz. Yeah, welcome. Appreciate, Paniz. You are sharing this story. The challenge regarding videos should happen to many of us. Kudos for you. That's great. And we have someone else saying, hello from New York City. Hello, Nancy. Welcome from New York City. And one more post here, Adib Ahmad, who says, very nice. Thank you, everyone. So it's already like we are hitting the 30 minutes mark already. Wow. Is there like one last thing that you would like to share with us, Paniz, before we wrap up?
Sure. I just wanted to say that if you are, whatever you are doing, start today, because you need to, take the first step, whether it's building your brand, whether it's working with a career coach, whether it's looking for another job, whether it is going to the gym, anything that it is that you want to do, don't postpone it. And the courage that you need will come with it. And I agree with what Doreen said, that confidence piece is just part of the process. And a lot of great things happens when you start it. So that's my last message for everybody. And thanks again for having me.
Thank you, Paniz, and thank you, everyone. For those of you watching the replay, leave your comment and questions. We'll read and answer all of them. And I will see you next week for another episode of Stand Out from the Crowd. Paniz, thank you so much, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.